Here we go. It's the Cop-Eye Podcast.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Cop-Eye Podcast. It's Mick and it's Kristian once again. How we doing, lad?
Yeah, good. Friday, so can't complain. Another week again, just over, like in a bang.
I know, goes like nothing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's only a week until I'll be sitting next to you instead of sitting digitally with you. So
yeah, you'll be here. So we'll try and do. Well, we'll do a show. I don't know. I can't even think what game. Oh, it's Southampton, isn't it? Of course. So we'll be doing like a Southampton preview, which would be a laugh. But we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well today. So if you're out, I don't actually think I can see if there's anyone watching on Twitter at the minute. But if you're out on Twitter watching, then if you fancy jumping over to us on YouTube or Facebook, whatever you prefer, then and get in the comments, then please do, because it would be nice. Aiden's in. Nice one, Aiden. Yeah, I told Aiden the wrong time. I was like, yeah, Klopp's press conference is at 1:30, so 1:00, so we'll do it about 1:15. And then I was like, just on YouTube randomly and saw Klopp live, and I was like, wait there, what's going on here? But Paul says, afternoon, looking forward to thumping Spurs this weekend. I hope so. I'm quite nervous about it, to be honest. But yeah, let's just jump into because obviously Klopp's press conference has just happened the last hour, last half an hour, something like that. So just in terms of injury updates, so he said on Henderson that he's now available, which is good. Milner isn't, due to the concussion rules. They have to miss one game after they get concussed, which you can understand. But yeah, any other quotes that you thought were interesting? I thought there was a few, like based on like when he was talking about how we've been in recent weeks and stuff like that. I just thought some of the quotes that he was saying were just really honest, and I thought that was good. Like when he was talking about Fabinho, he was like, the game, like the Napoli game, was a clear sign of how we know Fabinho is. He played a good game, defended all positions, and it felt good for him and important for him. And then just on our like general play, yeah, I'm based on like going into the Spurs game. He said, "What I never say once I thought before going to Tottenham, now is a good time to face Tottenham. It'll be a tough game, but that's all we want. It's like a CL game it's a Champions League game in the Premier League, and that's how we'll approach it." Yeah, I'm just reading from Paul Ghost's Twitter feed here. That's why I said CL. Apologies. But yeah, I thought he was quite honest just on like how we've played. Like he was mentioning like changing formations, and he was like, well, we needed to like kind of give everyone like a new game book, like how we're going to set up in this position, how we need to defend, because everyone's, like we've said before, everyone's been used to 4-3-3 because that's how we played, and we knew what Liverpool were going to do. We just got so good at it, and injuries have made us kind of have to change that, and I suppose it's hard to get everyone back onto the same level of the playing field that we were at in a different system, isn't it?
yeah, and I like that he's being honest. You know, it kind of makes us supporters understand more how he thinks, you know, how the players might think, you know, how they are going through a tougher period of time together. And after the Napoli game, coming out of with a positive feeling, and hopefully, you know, build on that. And I think, you know, the quotes about Fabinho, that he had a better game, that he looks better. You know, hopefully we can just build on that, because we need him back on a certain level, and obviously, you know, hitting the form and become hopefully world class again. But you know, we have to see the positives in things, and I think if we play in 4-3-3 against Tottenham, you know, we're going back to our standard formation, if you like. If we look at the Napoli game and how we played, if we can play the same, obviously now with Milner out because he did a good job, but I'm thinking Henderson is back as well. But I was also pleased with what he said about Darwin Núñez, you know, being a threat in the finishing situations and always causing troubles for the opposition. So I think, you know, being honest and telling how things are and how they are together to try to solve this and actually go to Spurs away now to get a good result, that's all focus on that. So I'm just looking forward to the game, and obviously it's a tough game, but they have a few major injuries and players out. you can't say they won't be good anyway, because they are a very tactical and structured team under Conte. But I'm thinking, we got a chance if, Son is out, and I think Kulusevski is also out. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Yeah. I think so. And Richarlison as well, apparently. So
they still have threats, but not the same kind of threats. And we have back, and we bouncing off a good performance from Napoli. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I like it. It's a Sunday game as well. We get an extra day just to see all the results, and an extra time to a bit of light training, or even some rest as well. So yeah, this is a good time to go there and actually get a good result.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think we're last to play, so we get to see everyone and see what happens, and then hopefully get 3 points. That's what we want. But Aidan says, running around Asda getting my shopping to be back for 12. Oh, nice one. Appreciate the. You didn't have to do that for us, but we appreciate it. Mark's in as well. Says, afternoon, lads. Nice one, Mark. Aidan says, it's good to go. We can go back to 4-3-3, but now we have other formations, which is good for us, and the other teams need to try and work us out. And Fabinho looked better the other night, and good to see Konate back. And Liz says, good morning, good people. Nice one, Liz, for jumping in. Yeah, I mean, Fabinho, just on Fabinho, like, slightly, I know we touched on it yesterday. Like, he did look better, but I think the levels that he's been putting in, and even when Klopp got asked the question, like, Fabinho, the journalist was like, Fabinho's not been on the same level, and he wasn't, like, he kind of just nodded along, like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, that's
but
the
like
thing.
just for him to put tackles in, and I mean, it's going to be, I think it might be hard for him to get back to the level, just in our current situation where we don't know what Liverpool's going to turn up game to game. But I think there was positive signs, weren't there? So hopefully he can, just start to just put a foot in and just kind of maybe just, I think it's one of those that just get your foot in, see what happens. If that maybe sometimes just something little, like a few good tackles in a row can just kind of spark you in the right way. And I think he's the type of guy that takes a bit of energy from that, doesn't he?
Yeah, a few good tackles and a few good, winning the ball and pass it, to someone else. Just to get the rhythm of his own game actually going. But I think what Klopp said as well in their press conference was that, we've been defending really bad as a collective, as a team. It's not just only, well, we know Fabinho's been out of form, but it's not only, players that hasn't been at the same level as we are used to see them. It's actually more of a collective thing as well. We had many players not reaching the levels that we are used to. So, but he said it, we've been defending bad as a team. And if they can start actually defending as a team and attacking as a team, I'm not concerned then, because I think Klopp will, even if we had a good result against Napoli, we played well. We go Spurs away. Yes, we don't know what kind of, performance Liverpool will put in, because at the moment we're up and down all the time, and we have been this season. But I'm still very confident in, let just Klopp do his thing, and hopefully we saw signs of Fabinho getting a little bit better. We have players coming back. We have players that can just keep on playing to get the rhythm. And I think that's the thing. You just have to keep on working. There's no other way to do it, because you will still play the games. You can't change the games or reschedule anything, yourself. So you just have to focus on each and every game and do it the best you can. And hopefully, as a collective, we will come through it and get better and better. And that's the thing. And I guess, our supporters just need to stand behind and actually just be supportive in this case, and realize we have had a period of bad times, but at some point it will change. And when we actually go and we get the rhythm, it will be fine, because we got all the good players for it. And if we can add some, really quality in January or even come summer, this team will still have a lot of levels to go. So, I'm just looking forward to hopefully click and get the rhythm going again. That's my aim, as a supporter, just to just wait and go.
Yeah, and I think it's just we need to have, I think patience is key with this Liverpool side, because like I said, we don't know what side's going to turn up. We can beat City and West Ham and then lose to Forest and Leeds. And Klopp said something today on the Leeds, like he said, he was mentioning like beating City and whatever, and then Leeds, and he said, I've never felt worse, and no chance have I ever felt worse. And I was just like, yeah, and I think that was kind of like, I said it was like a dagger to the heart, and because I was in the ground, and it was just kind of like last minute winner. And you're not playing well, you draw and you can't. It's the ball's not going in the back of net for you. We've got an equaliser, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a second, and then they go to the end and score, and it's just like, yeah, in a silver lining type way. Hopefully that was the kick up the arse we needed, and like you said, like just being collectively good as like a defensive unit. I think we saw that in the Napoli game, and Klopp got asked a few things there about. I think one of the journalists said, "Oh, like the Napoli game was a dead rubber," and Klopp was like, "No, it wasn't." I mean, it wasn't. He thought it wasn't a dead rubber because of the way the game was played. It was played at a high level. Both teams wanted to win. You could see when Napoli got their goal, that was ruled out, that they were the guy who was celebrating. He was absolutely ecstatic, and so were the rest of the players. So they wanted to win. They wanted to make a statement at Anfield. So the fact that we did beat them, we've just got to take a bit of positivity from that. And like Ravi says in the comments, we need a positive win. And I think when you look at the table, I think it might be I'm pretty sure it's a must win. I mean, it's one of those that we've even I think I'll just get the results up from the this is from the last 10 years, so there's quite a bit there. But if you look at the last two, drew at Anfield 1-1, and we drew 2-2 at their place in December 2021, where Kane should have got sent off and Jota should have got a pen. But we don't linger on those things. But apart from that, there's only the last 10 years we've only lost 2 to Spurs, and they were both at their place. 2012 and obviously 2017, where Lovren got taken off after 30 minutes because he was just having an absolute nightmare. So we tend to do well against Spurs, but I just think I tried to convince myself that Conte was going to change his system and be they've not been that good, we can get at them. But then you're it's Antonio Conte, he's just going to sit back, he's just going to play the counter-attacking game. But like you mentioned, if they're missing Son, if they're missing Kulusevski and Richarlison, that's a lot of pace there, And I think in terms of a counter-attacking game, obviously they can still put on Lucas Moura or Sessegnon, which is still pace, but in terms of being clinical in the final third, I feel like that takes away a lot of their threat, doesn't it? But it's just one of those that, yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult. I really do. But I think, like we said, if the Napoli game's anything to go by, then we just need to take a positive step from that, don't we? And kind of just try and put as much of that into this one, as hard as it'll be.
Yeah, and with even if they have a lot of quality out, they still have quality, like you say. So you can't think, it's good to have that going into a game, that they actually are missing really, really good players that can make it difference for them, that can help us. But you can't still underestimate anyone because they are pros. So we need to go into this game, like you say, like against Napoli. And I agree with you, it's a must win, because it would have been a totally different thing if we would have won against Nottingham and Leeds, as we are supposed to, normally, without being disrespectful. That's the wins you should just have if you're going to be at the top. Then you can go to Spurs away and, get a draw, or even lose if you like, because then you actually, have the points to, be able to lose that kind of game and still be at the top. So that's always that was always something that you look into when you look at these kind of games. If you win the games you're supposed to, then it's fine to drop some points here and there against the bigger teams. But at this point, at this stage, and we're looking at the table, this is a must win. We have to go there and actually win. It will be tough to lose. And, going into next game against Southampton, when I'm over and we're going to go into that, even if that's at home, that will have, put another knife at your throat, because even if it's Southampton at home, it will be this kind of feeling, I would say, going into that game, that the players know, the team know that we have to win. And, as long as that continue, the more nerve it will get. So, hopefully with the quality players out, we have a better chance and we can actually go in and put in a great performance, bouncing off the Napoli game. So that's what I hope for.
Yeah, and then just look at the table, we're 10 points behind Spurs at the minute. Obviously we've got a game in hand, but there's only 2 Premier League games left, Spurs and then the Southampton game that you mentioned. So yeah, if we draw, Spurs is still 10 points ahead. We give an opportunity for Man United and Newcastle, Chelsea to kind of make that gap even bigger than it is. We're currently 7 7 points behind United, which is sickening to say this early in the season. But like I said, we just need to take hopefully those small steps and start to get some points on the board in the Premier League. We have to. And I think the World Cup will hopefully come at a good time for us, where we can just have a pure reset and get players back, and maybe start to turn the screw a little bit better. But Mark in the comments says, what do you think of Bobby getting a new deal? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. That's the thing though. Like, it depends on what kind of role and what his, himself think of it. In the end, because he might be able to go somewhere where he actually plays, every game, where he's a starting player, even whatever league that might be. But I would like to keep him as someone who can actually play as a striker, or in the hole behind as a number 10 or whatever, because he got the qualities and he's been there for that long, so he kind of deserved to stay. But it's more up to him if he wants to be the one that can come off the bench or start in some cup games, or when we need rotation, because I don't think he would be obviously a starter with Darwin, Salah and Diaz, Jota when they are back. He will be further back in the packing order. So but I would like him to stay, because I think he got the quality. He knows the club. He can change a few things and be that clever, creative player. So it's more of a balance, I think. What would he like to do, and what can we offer him? That's the thing.
I think he's proved in the past that even when he's not been, like, if he's been injured and then came back and he's not played, he's never wanted to kick up a fuss, and he's always said he's happy. I think, like you said, it's up to him. If he wants to stay, then I think we'd be stupid not to give him a new deal. If he's happy to be on the bench and come off and have little cameos,
exactly,
then it only benefits us. Like, I think he's not quite the same in terms of his link-up play, because he was just an absolute master at that, and he's now turned into more of a, he'll get you a goal. He's still good at the link-up play, but it's not quite as tight as it once was, which is a shame, but that just happens with age. Unfortunately, he's not quite the same, because he was an absolute wizard at it. But yeah, I think we'd be stupid not to keep him around if he wants to, because as a squad player, he adds loads of value, doesn't he?
Yeah, and as long as he's actually happy with what we can offer him in, game time and what kind of role he has, and he's actually happy with it, and say, we might not be, going somewhere else and become, get to a better place. He might just think, I'm at Liverpool, this is probably the best place to be in world football, because he knows the city, the club, he knows his teammates, he's happy. Like you said, he always said he's happy. So why not just give him like a 2-year extension or whatever on the contract, and just say, and this role is what you have. You will play some, you will be on the bench some, you will be rotated, and if he's happy with that, do it. If he says that he wants more game time, then he deserved to be able to, go somewhere else. And we'd be like, thank you for all your service, and, we wish you luck in the future, because he won it all for us. He's done it all. So, I'm just happy if he stays. But if he want to go, that's up to him, because he might find somewhere we can actually play more games. And, he's one of them that you think, like, yeah, I respect that. That's fine. But I would like him to stay, to be in a role, like we said, where he can actually come in, change games, and actually, be someone who can rotate for someone else to have a rest or whatever. And I really like him, because he seems to be a funny guy as well. So lovely teeth.
Yeah, not the teeth, but yes, he's been there for 7 years, hasn't he? So he's just part of the furniture now. So he's just one of those that it's always like similar when Mane left. You don't want it to happen, but it's got to happen. Eventually. But Paul says the book he has is his favourites against Spurs. Liz says I want Fabinho the octopus back, and I think he'll get there soon. Players need to change their game a bit sometimes. Mark says not an excuse, but having Fab and his wife just had their first child. I think so, but yeah, I don't know. It just feels like loads more than that. I don't know what's going on. It just doesn't seem the same fella, and I don't know if it's kind of off the back of last season or whatever it is. But I think there's a few players who are not quite the same. But I think his drop is kind of like, wow, what's going on? I think it's really noticeable. Dan's in, nice one, Dan. Says afternoon lads, can see Perisic starting closer to Kane. He can break him behind and has a shot on him. Yeah, he's very dangerous. Liz says, I would like to keep Bobby, but understand if he wants to go and be a star someone else. And then Dan also says, if we play like we did on Tuesday, we should win. but with it being away and Spurs playing a different system to Napoli, it's easier said than done. Yeah, it's like we said, it's going to be a difficult one. It is indeed, but I'm just going to get our team up that we played against Napoli. Let's get that banner off so Kristian's not trying to look over it. There we go. So you can see the team that we played against Napoli. What changes would you make to that for the Spurs game?
Well, obviously, Milner is out.
Yep.
So it depends on Henderson as well. But it's a tough one because it's away against Spurs, and they, like I said, they are having quality players out. It might be a time to actually play Elliott, to use more creativity with Fabinho and Thiago, obviously in midfield as well. But it could also be to play Henderson. I'm not sure there, but obviously Tsimikas plays, but I think Robbo will be back, so I will have the same defensive line because I think Konate, he needs to play because he's got he's that big lad next to Virgil, and that's they bring some respect to that defensive line, and just defensive way as well. They're just brilliant, so I think that's good. And yeah, I think obviously I want Darwin to play because the impact that he had against Napoli and the way he, like Klopp said, he's always in a position to score, always causing troubles. It would be stupid not to play him in a game where we know that we need to win, and he actually get into those positions. So I would like him to start up front. Then I'm not sure, to be honest. With Curtis Jones, I would put on the bench. But in terms of system, I'm not sure how he's going to play. What do you think yourself?
I think the only changes. So I think Robbo comes back in. I think Tsimikas was good against Napoli, but I think Robbo comes back in just to kind of swap and change them. Like we've said, it's good to try and keep them fresh. So there's a lot of energy that needs to be in that left back area. So to keep chopping and changing works for us. So I think Robbo comes back in. I think Konate and Van Dijk's nailed on. I think it'd be crazy if he changed that because Konate was so good in the Napoli game. Yeah, Trent starts, Alisson starts. It's whether if he goes, he either goes Elliott in for Milner and Henderson in for Fabinho, or he just puts Hendo in for Milner and keeps Fabinho and Thiago in.
I think that would be good though, because Fabinho after the game against Napoli doing a little bit better. I think to start him again, gives him a boost of self-confidence, and that the manager trusts him. It would be a little bit weird to actually put him on the bench after that performance. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if we actually have a quite stable midfield with Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, it's a good working midfield as well, which we might need, even though they lack pace with the players they have out. So for me, that would be not. I wouldn't agree if Fabinho goes out, because if you have that good performance, why would you take him out of the team? That would be. I wouldn't agree with that. Would you?
Yeah, I think if he was gonna, I thought the Napoli game might have been the one where we go, right, take Fabinho out, give him a rest. But the fact that we put him straight back in again, Klopp just wants to keep playing him and just be like, right, you're doing the right things now against Napoli. Take that into this game. So yeah, I think Fabinho plays. I think it's either Henderson in or Elliott in on the right. I think Henderson probably most likely, just because it's away at Spurs, and we'd probably be better to have our skipper in there. But then I can see the shout for Elliott because he's been so good this season in terms of like creativity and stuff. Yeah. But let's see what people are saying in the comments. So Doug's gone for Alisson, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Thiago, Nunes, Firmino, Elliott, Salah. Also, Doug's gone for a 4-2. Well, it's 4-2-3-1, isn't it? It looks like that. So Nunes on the left, Firmino in behind Salah, and then Elliott on the right. Yeah, I mean, he could do that. I just think with the 4-3-3 he went back to against Napoli, and he's used it against City as well.
Yeah, I think you just want to go back to what he knows
Tried and
have worked
tested.
before, and actually just get back to and use it and have it, and go from there. Because now we tried a few different systems. It has kind of worked in some games, but at the same time, we know that okay, we can swap formations if we need to, but we need to maybe have the basic one that he feels is his system and have worked, forever since he actually came in one way. So for me, I see the 4-3-3. We might be surprised, but I see it. And the only thing I'm thinking of is who's going to play in the front three, like Salah, Darwin Núñez, and who?
So I think it would be. I think. It's difficult, isn't it? Because I think the only problem I like Doug's, but the only problem I have with that is, in terms of bench options, your attacking options are then what have you got on the bench? Then you've got Carvalho, you've got Jones, you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, you've got maybe Keita if he's even nearer. If you go for a 4-3-3, and if you go Núñez as the striker, Salah is on the right, and then you put Jones back in, or you put Carvalho back in, at least you've got Bobby on the bench then that can come on and maybe do something. Or Klopp might just surprise us all and go Núñez on the bench and keep him as an impact sub. It's a hard one to call.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Diaz out and Jota out. We know that the left hand side is really difficult for us, so that might force a change of formation again, because it's hard to say, for Carvalho to go against Spurs away and just go in and have an impact. Same with Jones, even if he had a better game against Napoli, it's hard to say go in on the left side and actually perform, because Diaz and Jota, they have another level into the game and they are both gone. So that might force to a change of system. But I think it will be 4-3-3, and we could play Firmino up front and actually Darwin on the left, just to have some pace and actually swap a little bit and be able to maybe substitute Firmino after a while for Carvalho or whatever, and then put Núñez at the top. So it is difficult because we don't have the options that we are used to, and the starting 11 as kind of being the ones that we're used to as well, with all the injuries, but it might be that Curtis Jones will start because he had a better game, and Klopp actually, he rates him, as a good player, playing for Liverpool as well. So we'll see. But that's the left side in the offensive three is a bit of a mystery for me, depending on how, who's going to play there, because they are all young, and I would love Carvalho to play and actually have a great impact because I really like him. But it's at the same time, I respect that he's still young, learning his trade at Liverpool, so you might not put him in this kind of game.
Yeah, I think Núñez is better as a striker, because he likes to go out left anyway, but I think that works better when it's like a natural thing. Like if there's space over left, he can go over there. But when he's tied to the left a little bit, I feel like that's a little bit more. I don't know. I don't think it's as natural for him. I think through the middle, like he's just like when we saw him when he came on against Napoli. All of the good stuff happened after that, like getting yellow cards, assists, goals. All the chaos happened when he came on the pitch. So it's just it's a big call for him, because I think it's a big call for Klopp, because it's away from home. Like even like just showing their last two results, we've drawn both of them. Even when we were amazing at footy and battering everyone, we still struggled going away to Spurs. But Mark says Hendo in for Millie and Darwin in for Curtis. So yeah, that's kind of what we're saying, and that's maybe the most likely shout, I think. Liz says what Doug said, and 2-1 to the Reds. Dan says only changes I make are Robbo in for Costas, Elliott in for Milner, and torn between Bobby and Núñez. Want one on the bench just in case. That's the thing. That's the only thing about like trying to keep someone on the bench, because otherwise, like if you 1-0 down and you've got to take off a striker and you're bringing on like a Carvalho or something, and you kind of expecting a lot from them, and they're capable of it. Like Jones and Carvalho are more than capable of creating something, but I think it's a big ask, especially away from home, innit?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, the injuries force us to not knowing what Klopp's going to do, and I don't think well, he knows obviously what he thinks, but I think it's always a headache for him with Jota and Diaz out, because that's your left-hand side players that creates a lot, that are really creative and very painful for the opposition to play against, because they are both got pace, they are got loads of energy, and we don't really have that on the left-hand side if we don't play Darwin there, because he's got it. But that's the thing, that's a headache for him, because he knows that we don't have the same quality on that side at the moment. We do have great quality on the right side. If Salah plays there and Trent and Elliott, for example, that's a great little triangle on that side. But the left side is not the same with them players out, so he needs to sort that and don't make it weak defensively. He needs to know that defensively we need to be solid as well, but we also need to have that side good in an offensive way, which is hard when you have the players out, and that's where his decision will we'll see what happens. But it could be Curtis Jones, or it could be Carvalho, or we actually go with Darwin Núñez on the left side. We'll see. Or he's changed his formation. You see, that we don't know.
It's good to have options, though, isn't it? Like when we had loads of injuries, we're like, yeah, we know who's starting, but there's going to be no bench options. So at least we're getting some back now. Aidan says Alisson, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robbo, Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Salah, Núñez, Carvalho. So yeah, 4-3-3. Núñez through the middle. Get Bobby on the bench. Now that I'm saying that out loud, that sounds more and more likely as I'm saying it, either Carvalho or Jones on that left.
Yeah.
And then Panofsky is a nice one for jumping in. Aidan says, 4-3-3 for my team. But yeah, we don't know. But either way, hopefully Darwin Núñez starts, because I think that'll just be just like he's scoring. I mean, just the stats like put up yesterday from Mike Reid, like only 5 Liverpool players have scored more goals than him in the Premier League era. In his first 15 appearances, which is just like, considering how Liverpool are at the moment, is an amazing stat. But we've got quite a few score predictions. But Kristian, I'm going to come to you first. What do you reckon?
It is a tough one, but I always try to be positive. But I'm thinking with their quite a few of their main players out, who actually are a real threat against any team. I think we gotta have a good chance, and if we can put in a performance like against Napoli, and still have the players available as we had then, with Konate coming in and Darwin starts, because I think he deserved to start, because he have that impact in games, and he's always a threat. So why not use that threat straight away? So I think with that kind of power in there, and with Fabinho doing a little bit better, hopefully coming into this game, I think we'll go and win it with 2-1. It will be a tough one, but I think we'll just do it, because we also know that we need to go and win. So I'll say 2-1, because that's just a stomach feeling.
Yeah, I've been thinking 2-1. To be fair, I'd love a 2-0. I mean, I'd take anything at the minute. I'd take 1-0. OG.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But there's just a few comments. Liz says she's gone for 2-1 to the Reds. Dan says 2-0 win, hopefully Salah and Jones with the goals. I'd absolutely love a Curtis Jones goal, Paul says 2-1 for us as well, and then Panofsky says 2-0 to us as well.
Ooh, clean sheet.
I'd love a clean sheet, I love that Van Dijk gif. I love clean sheets, man. I love clean sheets. Chris is in. Nice one, Chris. Which Liverpool team turns up? Who knows exactly? And then he says, I'd keep Jones left and bring in Núñez for Bobby, who looks knackered. Yeah, I think that's most likely, to be fair. I'll keep changing my mind now. I was like, keep Bobby up there and put Núñez left, but then take Bobby out as a last 20 minutes bench option, or do you do that with Núñez? I don't know. There's loads of question marks. And then Chris says 1-1, sadly, which I don't think is going to be. I mean, that was still going to be 10 points off Spurs if that happens, unfortunately. So,
yeah.
I mean, like we said, last 2 games against them, it's been 1-1 and 2-2. So it's, in terms of probability, that's the most likely. But hopefully we just kind of can turn the screw a little bit in this game and get a bit of energy. Doug says Spurs 2, Liverpool 4. Mad game, I feel. I was going to say I can't take that, but I can take anything after these first couple of months for Liverpool, because it's just been mental every game, hasn't it? So I think my body's getting used to it a little bit. And yeah, Paul says that I can't take that scoreline. My nerves would be smashed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a difficult one. I think I'm just hoping that because they're missing certain players, like we mentioned, that Conte doesn't go extra, like park the bus, like he's already parked the bus, but missing Son, Kulusevski, Richarlison, maybe he'll just go right, flat back 10, Kane up, flat back 9, Kane up top, just see what happens. I don't know, but it's never a nice game when you play. Even like Spurs come to Anfield under Conte, like it just wasn't a good time. Liz says, I just want a low blood pressure match.
It never will be.
Never will be. And it seems like for a while until Liverpool click properly into gear. But yeah, just before we go, just gonna give this a little shout out. So doing a chat with Dave Critchley, who's a chef, Scouse chef. He's in charge of Luban in town in Liverpool. So I'm just gonna have a chat with him about his career and the Other Word pod lads took over at Luban, which they saw some of the pictures. It looked hilarious. So I'm going to have to get his thoughts on that as well, and then talk about the Reds and that so far. Hopefully, we do the business against Spurs, and it'll be a bit more of a positive chat rather than just like, oh, Liverpool are shit. Why are we shit? There's the same shit that keeps happening. We don't want that. But yeah, that'll be out next week sometime. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Everyone, nice one for jumping in. It's been, hopefully I got to everyone's comments. I think I did, but I appreciate it anyway for you jumping in. Really appreciate it. If you're watching live, then yeah, do like and subscribe. If you're watching whenever, before the game, tomorrow, Saturday, whenever you're watching it, like and subscribe as well. We're getting close to 1.5K, which been trying to get there for a while. But now that we're doing pods more often, hopefully that'll help. And yeah, we're on Spotify and audio platforms, Apple Podcast and whatever. So if you're listening via that method, then yeah, do leave us a rating on there because it helps the old algorithms and all that. I don't know what it helps with. I mean, it surely helps. If you're just listening, then that helps anyway. So we appreciate you listening anyway. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Nice one, everyone. A nice one to Kristian, and yeah, we'll be back maybe on Sunday after the game, or maybe Monday. To try and do maybe a review on the Reds doing the business. But yeah, nice one, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you all very soon.